Loki, the first Marvel show that doesn't spend one full hour before getting into the real premise of the show. Owen Wilson is the best Marvel character that is basically just playing himself since Jeff Goldblum in Thor Ragnarok. The director of Loki said she put together the most comprehensive pitch she's ever given to any actor to try to get him on this show. And I could see why because—
Oh shit, it's Mephisto!
It's Mephisto! It's Mephisto,
everyone! Mephisto, everyone, watch out!
Face of the devil, just another reference to Mephisto.
The villain we are referring to is Mephisto.
That Monica 2 could actually be a disguise worn by Mephisto. They all point to another possibility, Mephisto. You know I keep bringing up Mephisto. This home is being furnished by Mephisto. Pieces of Mephisto's soul. And now this Mephisto has come to reclaim these children. And the beekeeper is Mephisto. But I'm pretty sure it's Mephisto. We just saw Mephisto in the Loki trailer. He's coming. I believe Mephisto is still coming. Mephisto.
Ha, I knew it was Mephisto. It's always him. And then right here, as soon as this happened, my first thought was, well, why didn't this happen to the Avengers?
Appears to be a standard sequence violation.
The show literally already makes no sense.
What they did was supposed to happen.
All right then, if that was supposed to happen, what about the 14,604 futures where the Avengers lose? Were those all supposed to happen? Did the TVA, or more specifically the timekeepers, want the timelines to work out in the way that only 1 out of 14 million timelines doesn't get half the life wiped out of it? Or is there infinitely more timelines than 14,605 and there's like billions and trillions? Let's just say there's like 100 trillion timelines, right? So if it was like 1 out of every 14,605 timelines that made it and there was 100 trillion timelines, that would mean the timekeepers would only have 7 million timelines that weren't mostly wiped out by Thanos, and the other 99.9 trillion were. I mean, if the timekeepers let Thanos wipe out half the souls in 99 trillion timelines, I feel like they aren't doing a very good job. Or maybe Doctor Strange was only seeing possible futures, but in every single timeline, they pulled it off. Although that kind of makes the 14 million to 1 odds lose its meaning. If every timeline they pulled it off, then how do those odds make any sense? And what about the timeline that Thanos came from? What happens there? Did that happen in every single other timeline too? Every universe has to fight 2 Thanos? How do they now run out of Thanoses? You know what? Actually, I don't care.
What they did was supposed to happen.
You know, I had all those questions and I still feel like basically none of them were answered. But as long as the show has the balls to at least address their plot holes, that makes me feel like these questions will be addressed down the line, but I'm not holding out hope. Looking at you, Ralph Boner. I don't care that it gets more confusing the more you think about it. I care that they made dialogue good enough for Loki to sit across the table from Owen Wilson playing Owen Wilson as Owen Wilson and make that interesting for over 10 minutes starring Owen Wilson.
I feel like I'm always looking up to you. I like it.
I'll show you where my desk is. You can start there.
I don't know, it's hard to say. You know, time passes differently here in the TVA. Space is big. It'd be a nice feather in your cap. Loki, the king of space. I'm a god.
Your goddamn negativity. I don't need it. I'm an idea man. I thrive on enthusiasm. Don't take the wind out of my sails. I need you.
The MCU can be predictable and watered down and cringy, but sometimes they do something that's surprising. And this time, I am so surprised that they watched one episode of Rick and Morty and decided to make a 6-hour-long miniseries out of it on Disney Plus for the low price of $13.99. I'm not the only one that thinks that, right? I haven't caught the Jeremy Jahns review or the new Rockstar's breakdown or Emergency Awesome yet, but I have to assume there's at least people in the comments comparing it to Rick and Morty. And you know, I just found out that they hired a Rick and Morty writer for the show, and I don't think that that makes up for it. I think that's just like, he's just like a fall guy. Like, oh, you can't make fun of us for ripping off Rick and Morty. See, we hired someone from Rick and Morty. Well, I'm gonna call you out for it because this is stupid. You know what? Actually, I don't care. I can already tell right now at some point Loki's gonna come face to face with evil Loki for the first time. And they have like a showdown where they're like matching each other's moves and fighting in the same style. And then Loki is like, as much as I love looking at that face, I have a plane to catch. And then like takes off or something blows up or he like goes through a portal or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying though? There's gonna be like some sarcastic Loki on Loki dialogue, and I'm willing to bet that's gonna be pretty As you can most likely tell by now, this part was written before the second episode was released. So when Loki finally came face to face with evil Loki, he was not looking at himself, he was looking at this person. The part they screwed up is how cool it is to look at a similar looking but very badass version of the main protagonist. Like they teased us with all these crazy looking versions of Loki at the beginning of the episode, and then the one we get is someone who doesn't look like Loki at all.
This isn't about you.
You know what? Actually, I don't care. I'm just saying that if this was Black Widow in the TVA and it was her show instead of a movie, it would actually be released by now. But if Black Widow was hunting down herself, like through different timelines, and just like some big burly man showed up from another timeline was like, oh, I'm Black Widow, but I'm a guy, I'd be like, Why did they do this? But I'm gonna give her a shot. Obviously, she'll most likely become one of the good guys. I'm just a little thrown off, and it's absolutely hilarious how most the entire show is just ripped off from Rick and Morty. I'm just gonna name a few off the top of my head.
Do we have to wear these things? They're really embarrassing.
Well, since you're going to time prison, I'd say you can keep them on forever.
You're now moving at 1/16th speed.
1 dot, motherfucker! Jeez, Rick, what is... The Citadel of Ricks. It's the secret headquarters for the Council of Ricks.
Home sweet home.
All the Ricks in the central finite curve. You're the malcontent. The rogue.
The variant we're hunting is you.
Most timelines have a Rick, and most Ricks have a Morty.
Criminal, we're looking for a Loki, a variation of...
Hey, what do you know? It's a cowboy version of me. Jeez, you're easy to impress.
And no two are alike. Slight differences in appearances, or not so slight.
So to answer your question, is Loki a ripoff of Rick and Morty? The answer is kinda. And are they doing a better job or updating it in any way? And I would say so far, no, not really. It's not like Rick and Morty invented all these ideas or something. I know some of them come from the comics. It just seems like really similar. Like it's almost beat for beat. But oh well. At least Loki's still a heterosexual. All right, I gotta say, I wish this episode was a ripoff of Rick and Morty, because then maybe something interesting would have actually happened. They go to a planet, they fight, they team up, they bond, Loki's by, and then they get stranded. Absolutely nothing interesting happens. This episode breeds 3 kinds of Twitter reactions. Number 1, the guy who says to keep the politics out of the episode. He is so angry that his comic book character is a bisexual now that he threatens to stop watching comic book character movies. Number 2, the person whose life has now forever been changed because Loki is confirmed bi, and now they no longer want to die. Number 3, the guy that says they don't care if he's gay, straight, bisexual, or whatever. I just want the episode to be good. Honestly, I don't care which one of these people you are, but all of them are so played out. It's 2021, people. We need a new reaction squad. So I propose a 4th agenda. Make him bisexual as fuck. Literally, this is the least bisexual thing I think I've ever seen. It's the most boring piece of bisexuality that has ever been made. David Bowie would be disgusted with this episode. I'm not even kidding. He is throwing up right now on Venus. This isn't bisexual. This is a CW plot with a Michael Bay budget. All he did was say he slept with a few princes. Like, nothing happened. Nothing actually happened, though, on screen, because Disney knows all they have to do is literally include one fucking line, and then the media shills will run a congratulatory campaign over Disney's progressive stances for 300 fucking straight days.